Well, hello here. We are learning with Mr. Neff, lesson 7.3. We're looking at more multiplication properties of exponents here. And so we're really focused on something we've already seen maybe a little bit. I can raise power to a power, and I can raise product to a power. We'll look at those. And where it gets tricky is we're going to throw in the negatives. And if we went throw in the negatives, this wouldn't be too bad. It becomes more challenging there. But just apply the rules and then know at the end the negatives we're going to flip. You know what I mean? Okay, so we're going to multiply the exponents. Power of a power means multiply the exponents. That's what we see here. And this is where a does not equal 0. So they're saying the base cannot be 0 here because obviously we'll just 0 everything out. And raise each product. To raise a product to a power, raise each factor to the power and multiply. You'll see the examples here easier than anything else. Okay. Some of these are a little hard to do in Microsoft PowerPoint, but we got to work. So here is m to the 5th to the 3rd power. And then we're going to take 3 of m to the 5ths, if we could say. So m to the 5th, m to the 5th, m to the 5th, 3 times. So that's really 15 m's, and we get it by multiplying the powers. That's the 5 times the 3 that you see here. We just multiplied 5 times 3, and then we were able to get m to the 15th power. Simple enough, right? Okay. Then let's look at another one again. Into the, I said 2a, but this is really example 2, and you'll see I just went to example 3. Into the 4th to the 7th power. So again, that's 7 into the 4ths. So it's really multiply into the 28th. Easy enough, right? Well, let's look at one like this now. So you see all my work just laid out. I'm not advancing through the slides here. Into the 4th to the negative 7 power. And so I need to put a negative right where there and there. I stole this from the last slide. So we are just going to multiply again. Now we get into the negative 28. Generally, as a general rule, simplified is to eliminate the negatives as well. All right, so if it says leave it as a negative exponent, then you do that. But we know that n over to the negative 28 is the inverse of n to the 28th. And so our answer then is 1 over into the 28th. Just understanding if we get that negative, we just are flipping it. And of course, if there's no other number in the top, then it would be a 1. Of course, if it read 6n to the negative 28th, then we would write it as 6 over into the 28th, and that would be simplified as an example for that. Right, example 4 now. Try and read this. The exponents don't line up. It was really kind of hard to do this. This is 3x to the 1/2 power to the 4th power if you're looking at it. I wrote it twice here, same thing. All right, but what we're going to do here, so if you're looking right here, this is really power of a product. So we have two things being multiplied, a product, and we have a power. And so what we're going to do is this is what I call the distributive property of exponents. And we're going to bring the 4 in both parts. That means we're doing 3 to the 4th power. Okay, down here you see that. And then we're doing really 4 times 1/2. The x to the 1/2 power and to the 4th power. So we're doing, and I already did that. So 1/2 times 4 right here got me the 2 right here. So 3 to the 4th power, then we get 81, right? And then 1/2 times 4 got me the 2. And 81x squared is the simplified form. It's as far as that will go of that particular problem there. But think of it as kind of like a distributive property. It's not a distributive property, but it's applied the same. You have two parts, and that 4 is acting on each of those parts. All right, here's another one, just real simple. We say, hey, we know the side length. Right, here's the side length. The side length is 6x to the 3rd. Don't know why it's 6x to the 3rd, but we call it 6x to the 3rd. So we're just saying then what would the area of that be? Well, we're saying it's 6x to the 3rd by 6x to the 3rd. So we're going, how we find area square? We're going to square it. 6x to the 3rd to the 2nd power, as you see at the top here on the right. And so we're going to distribute that in, just like we said, 6 squared is 36. And then 3 times 2 is 6 as well. And so that is the simplified form when you do that right there. Okay. And the last one I want to show you here is just kind of working backwards. And it says complete this equation. And this is really through x to the 3rd to what power? I couldn't do this very well, but it's basically a space right here. X to the 3rd to what power will equal negative 9. Well, let's just call that a letter that we don't. How about y? Basically, what we're trying to do is say 3 times what? 3 times what will equal negative 9 over here? Okay, I just made up the y. I'm just saying 3 times question mark. I could do it that way if that would be easier. Okay, and really, so I'm going to take negative 9 divided by 3, and I'm going to get the question mark. Okay, I should have just called this question mark. Question mark right here is equal to negative 3. So what am I saying? X to the third to the negative third power would equal x to the negative 9. That's what we're saying. Because 3 times negative 3 is equal to negative 9. All right, this was hard enough to get these equations or expressions, I should say, in here. So I went ahead, well, this was an equation here, but I went ahead and just didn't have a now you try. So that's all we have with these. And I hope you enjoyed learning with Mr. Neff. All right, thanks.